Somebody Somewhere is a brand new, I want to say, dramedy on HBO that's based on the life of comedian Bridget Everett. In it, she plays Sam, a woman who's struggling with the loss of her sister and also to find her own voice. Now, we had a chance to sit down for a conversation with the star herself. Here it is. Check it out.
Hey! It's a little bit early to be doing that, isn't it?
12:30.
Well, before we get into it, I have to say I absolutely love the show, and I'm convinced that all of us need a friend like Jeff Hiller. We just
Oh my God.
need someone like that in our lives.
Yes. He's such a star. He's like, I have to tell you, like when he walked into the room to audition, I was just like, oh, he's sweet and funny and so fast on his feet and just like he exudes so much warmth. And I think that he would save anybody's life. He certainly saved Sam's and he saved mine a little bit too.
Fantastic. So the show is in part inspired by your life, and I'm sure you've been asked this a million times already, but about how and the why and which parts. But I'll change things up a little, and I'm curious as to how much you embellish when you do something like this for the sake of entertainment.
Well, in my live shows, it's almost all real all the time. And this, we took like parts of my life and parts of me, but also parts of some of the other writers. But there are a lot of true moments in it, for sure. But for TV's sake, I didn't want to hurt anybody's feelings that I actually know and love. So if I knew it was gonna scorch somebody's earth, we just didn't do it.
Right. Because of course, I think when it comes to comedian-centric shows like this one, whether it's yours or something like Rami, for example, and I don't know if I'm speaking for everyone, but as a member of the audience, sometimes I find it very difficult to disconnect the character from the person.
100%.
Right. And I was curious if that happens to you as a performer and the individual.
We had to put, look, I'm not a classically trained actress, right? Or an actor, so we needed to put in a lot of Bridget into Sam.
I'm going to stop you there. You say that, but after watching this show, I am convinced there is nothing you cannot do.
Oh, thank you. Well, part of it is like we wanted to show like the full scope of Bridget, and I'm not like just somebody that goes up on stage and swings my body around. There's, the everything that gave me the courage to be that person on stage is what I went through. And so Sam, in a way, is like a lot of the origin story of me, I still, like, my sister died, right? So a lot of the stuff I do is to honor her, is to, I always get very emotional when I think about her. So there's a lot of that in there. And I don't know, I'm not answering your question. I just started talking to my sister, so I always forget what I'm talking about. But I just think that we're all fully, we're complicated people, I'm like wild on stage, but I like to sit at home and have a glass of wine and feel sorry for myself sometimes, like I'm like everybody else.
As we all.
Yeah. Especially these last couple of years, right?
Yeah, I know, right? Why do you think I have all these books?
Oh, I got
okay, so thinking about that, and tell me this, just if you wouldn't mind a slightly more serious question. I think watching your show, it reminded me of something, and I think there's a side of America that you show in this show, one that's often insulted and talked down to, one that everyone on the left is always trying and constantly failing to understand, right? And I think it's the role of fiction. I don't think politics and news can fix that. And I think maybe the key is in fiction. What do you think?
I think that you're probably right. I think that right now everybody is it's so raw, it's so divided, and like we didn't want to do a show like where I don't have the same politics as a lot of people in Kansas, but I didn't want to. None of us wanted to make it a thing like where we like look down on them because we they always say like coastal elites or whatever. It's for me, it's about the human connections with people. And my brother lives there, my mom lives there, and they're more conservative, and we have opposing viewpoints. But I think you're 100% right. It's like we have to think of each other as individuals and as people with families, people with lives, and some commonalities, or we're never going to get anywhere. And so, I mean, I don't think of the show as a tool to do that, but if it did any sort of, making people look at the Midwest a little differently, then I would be really grateful.
But tell me how you bridge that gap. I mean, even with your own family, like you mentioned, you have different politics, and What is that? Is that just the rule of, well, we don't talk about religion and politics at the table, or is there something else to it?
Oh, we do. In my family, we do. It comes up like, because some of us are liberal, and then my poor brother, my brother Brad, that still lives in my hometown, is like more conservative. And like, we make fun of each other. You know, he's like, he makes the Hillary jokes and we make the conservative jokes back and forth, you know. But that's my family. Like, it's always a battleground there. We always just make fun of each other until someone cries, and it's usually me.
No, but I think that translates onto the show, and we see that even in the first episode, even with the relationship you have with your sister. I think that kind of it comes across. That tension comes across.
Yeah, good. I mean, there's something that she says in that scene that came from my real life, not from my sister, but you know, she says, "Love the sin or hate the sin." And I've had two friends. Yeah. You know, when I had various like gay friends at one point, I had two friends say that to me on separate occasions from home, and they're like good friends of mine, and I'm like, what? Like, what are you talking about? But I've known them my whole life, and it's not as simple as just like cutting people out of your life. You want to make them understand something. There's no use in just like, cutting everything out. You have to try to understand each other.
No, you're right. It's very different when you're replying angrily to someone's tweet.
Yeah.
Versus someone you've known all your life, right?
Send.
Exactly.
And send.
I've
done it, believe me.
Oh no, God, so have I. I've got a couple of minutes left, but very quickly, what was it like working with the Duplass brothers? I had the chance to speak to Mark on a couple of occasions, and it was he's just so clever. And what was that like for you?
It was great. You know, first of all, they're super resourceful, which was great for us because like we don't have the Game of Thrones budget, right? We have a very small budget, and how to work with that, and how to get great people, and how to just to make a human experience. So they were really, really instrumental with that for sure.
Bridget, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you. Now I'm really curious as to what you would do with $15 million an episode, but yeah.
I'll bring you on set, we'll hang out.
More booze.
Yeah, more booze. And more booze. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. It's great to talk to you.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye now.
No, Mom, you can't apparently have one drink.
Everybody's always picking on me.
Family, huh? That sucks.
That was Bridget Everett, the star of HBO's Somebody Somewhere. You need to watch this show. It's very, very good. Sound off below in the comments once you do. Let us know what you think. Also, don't forget to check out our other interviews on our YouTube channel. Like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your family. Do the needful.